Here we go, people. It's a big day. Finally sharing these YouTube lessons, these little bits, pieces, nuggets, gems, and rare items that I've gathered through observation of people all over the place, working with clients in my coaching practice, hosting men's retreats, and just being in contact with people every single day. This has been a segment that I've wanted to create for a while, simply because I like to share what I see, and I wanted to share it in a really simple, succinct, and powerful way. So that's why I created this new segment, which I have not come up with the name of yet. So far, I got YouTube lessons. That's not going to work long term, but short term, we're good. But in today's episode, and the purpose of today's episode or lesson, whatever, is to get clarity on and quiet the voices in your head. I see it every day, like I said, in my coaching practice and in my encounters with people of all sorts, that they are living their lives under the influence of someone else's thoughts, plans, words, beliefs, stories, etc. And today I just want to have a conversation about this and make a few illustrations that I feel highlight what different voices are going on in your head, what they're saying, and start the process of becoming comfortable saying no, saying that I hear you, but I'm going to do X. I can see where this came from, and I no longer associate with that. I hear you and I understand, but I want to do what I want to do, right? As we continue to cultivate this deeper connection with our intuition, connect the heart and the mind, feel like that internal compass is starting to move us in the right direction. So my goal with these lessons is more or less just to take what I'm seeing working with clients, what I'm seeing in my everyday life, and creating like a 15-minute video where we can kind of talk about this, and you could even kind of do it along with me. It would be really, really cool. So let's begin. So I got my whiteboard, and it should be popping up right here. All right, cool, perfect. And I'm super amped. Okay, so first and foremost, the reason that this is an important conversation is because now more than ever, there are just so many influences. Oops. So many influences in your life. I mean, you're one person, right? Woo, we out here. And you have so many different voices in your head. I always think it's important to reflect on our history and our past and where we came from. Many times throughout the last few centuries and thousands of years, you would have never had this many different perspectives conflicting and converging in your mind all at once. Okay. You lived in a smaller village. There were a few people. There was usually a culture and tradition that was already there. And rarely was it super conflicting. Okay. But now that we live in this very globalized world, there are so many different perspectives that are conflicting in your mind, right? And I recently had a client who was really struggling with this. They had so many different teachers in their head. They had family in their head. They had previous friends in their head. They had their own beliefs in their head. And it's just a lot, right? It just creates this like, no, I got too much going on. I don't know what I want, right? And like I said, part of this experience and part of what I want to do here with these lessons is learn to allow the heart and the mind to have a really free-flowing connection with one another. Because when that happens, that internal compass is able to lead you where you want to go, right? And there's lots of sunshine there, and your vision can become a reality. All these awesome things happen there, but they can't happen, right? They can't happen if there is so much noise. So how do we eliminate the noise? First things first, I just want you guys to all practice this, right? Just close your eyes for a second. Oh, and just take a nice little breath, man. I just want you to take a moment just to see right here with me, just a muddy river, a muddy river. Can you see the bottom of the muddy river? No, no. I want you to visualize yourself walking into a noisy coffee shop. You hear like 4 or 5 different conversations at once. Can you even really hear yourself think? No, that's why you put in your headphones and music to zone it all out, right? So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to mitigate the chaos to allow us to experience more clarity, right? Because when we have clarity, we can see the bottom, and thus we know which shell, which rock, which fish, if you've ever been snorkeling, that we want to go see, investigate, go deeper with, whatever it is, right? This is akin to you being on your life path, right? And I have a really cool podcast called Lifelines, where I talk a lot about the idea of lifelines or your life path versus timelines, which is a good conversation to have right now, which are societal narratives that you need to go this direction at all times, or else you are wait for it, failure, and you're not doing it right, etc. So much of what I want to share here is that that everyone that's doing anything is creating it. There are no quote right or wrongs. And we're working towards it. There's lifelines that we're pursuing, or there are timelines that we are suffering through. Okay. So back to the voices. What I want to do first and foremost is I just want you to, as you close your eyes, I just want you to ask yourself, like, what are the main voices in my head? Or even better, it could be, my handwriting's horrible, but just bear with me. Who are the main voices? Right? Who are your biggest influencers? Right? Could be parents, could be any other family member, could be a mentor, could be someone from YouTube that you look up to, an influencer. Who are your main voices? Right. So first things first, you can open your eyes here. If you don't have a journal, always bring one to class because it's in session, baby. Right. I want you to write this question down. Who are the main voices? And then underneath that, what are they saying in your head? You can pause it here. I want you to take a moment and really give this some thought. What are the main voices that you're hearing in your head? Like, who are these people and what are they saying? Right? If you can get clarity on this, then what we can do next is start the process of analysis. Are these, we can ask this question, are these voices and what they are saying in alignment with who I am? Which means, more or less, are the people that I'm listening to living the life that I want to live? If they are not living the life that I want to live, if they are preaching to me, get a job, pursue this path, keep going, deal with the bullshit, right? And you know in your heart that you just don't want to do that and that you don't need to do that, right? Then you're allowing the chaos, right, and the conflict of their voice to drown you out. Simply because, for whatever reason, you view them as higher than you. And if you view them as higher than you, it's very hard to have the confidence to rise up and allow yourself to be equal in your own light. Okay? So, who are these voices? What are they saying? And you, again, you're going to need to write this out. Is this in alignment with who I am? Right? And how do you know if it's in alignment with who you are? Well, here's a couple obvious things. If what you're doing in your life is causing you unbelievable stress, anxiety, it's resulting in anger, emotional volatility, etc. If any of these things are like unbelievably prevalent, there's a really good chance that these voices are ushering you down a path of implosion. What does that mean? It means that eventually you're going to blow up from the inside out. And the reason is because you know in your heart this is not who you are and where you want to be, that taking action on the things that you have been told to do by these influencers is making you feel uncomfortable. You know it's not really you. It's hard to pretend to do it, but you can find, you do it, or it's the hardest thing you've ever done, but you suck it up. Like, I'm all about like toughness. Don't get me wrong. Toughness is how our ancestors got here, but we live in the 21st century. So most of you watching this, I don't know about most of you, but a lot of you watching this are pretty safe. You're pretty secure. Most likely have food or water, not everyone, but mostly, right? You don't need to like go to the ends of the earth all the time, force yourself to put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Like you can also take rest, right? And you can follow your own intuition, right? Nature has seasons, so too do you. But back to this whole lifelines conversation. Our society makes a lot of money off of timelines. By this point, you need to be X. By that point, you need to be Y, AKA. By this point, you need to be thinking about college. By that point, you need to go to college. By this point, you need to be thinking about a job, get an internship, get a job, stay at the job, go for a new job, invest in a 401k, whatever it is, right? They love timelines. Why? They make a lot of money off of timelines. By this point, you're going to need X help. By this point, this is what we can expect from you. By that, versus lifelines. Some people make a lot of money off lifelines because they're unpredictable, right? But your life path is different. Marketers have a hard time planning for what's different now. Interesting thought right there, right? So anyway, as we move a little bit further, right, we have these voices ushering you down the path of implosion. All I want you to do right here is investigate the voices. So I just want you to make like a little chart. Go like this. You can make like a little letter on the left for whoever the voice is in your mind. Maybe it's mom, and mom says X. And over here, you get to say, do I agree with this? Why? Why not? Now, and see, this only works if you're honest. So what I'm saying is you can disagree here and not have to go talk to mom yet. You can disagree here and not have to talk to your boss. You can disagree here and not have to talk to your spouse or your partner, whoever it is yet. But the initial phase of being honest plants the seed. Plants the seed for growth, change, transformation. All those things are good. And we are, oh man, I'm going to have to get better at this. We are happy. Okay, we're happy. Happy, right? So I just want you to go down the list, right? It could be, like I said, boss. It could be friends. It could be your partner. It could be your influencer friend that you have like, decided it knows everything that you don't. And, again, you have to decide, right? Who are these voices? What are they saying? Are they in alignment? Those are the three questions. Who are these voices? What are they saying? Are they in alignment with who I am? If they are not, why? If they are, why? As we get clarity on what we believe, what we don't, we start to have an understanding of who we're listening to. And what does that do? It just narrows the playing field. It narrows the inputs, right? Narrows the inputs. And what does that do? Increases focus, increases magnetism, increases direction, increases vision, and all those increase confidence, increase stability, because you know where you're headed and it feels good, makes you feel grounded, gives off this air of trust, acceptance, belief. Ooh, and here's the big one, faith. That is the power of quieting the mind and the voices. So right here, I want you to close. Oops, I think I screwed up. So right here, I just want you to close your mind. I'm sorry. I want you to close your eyes one more time, and I want you to visualize that river again, right here. Right? Visualize the voices, however you choose. And at the beginning of this experience, however long ago that was, 10, 20 minutes ago, whatever, it was cloudy, murky, couldn't see much, right? Didn't have a lot of clarity. Thus, it's very easy to be emotionally overwhelmed. And when you're emotionally overwhelmed, you also are going to have a hard time making decisions. Okay. which perpetuates the anxiety and all the other things a lot of people feel. So it's important to be aware this is very normal. What's not normal is clarity. Erasing, moving, storing, acknowledging, analyzing, crossing out, and creating space for what you believe, what you feel. You decrease from all these voices to a lot less. And with that, like we said, comes clarity, comes direction, and then comes, with your courage, action. Right? So it's so important to be aware, and as you're still, hopefully your eyes are still closed and you're seeing the different voices just quiet, and maybe you have them at like a table in your mind and you slowly just start to acknowledge and let them, dismiss them from your mind. Like, I'm not going to live my life with this energy anymore. I'm not going to listen to that anymore. I know you want me to XYZ, but I do not want to, right? There's so much power in acknowledging these things. And what we're doing here is we're practicing internal conflict, right? Resolving it so that when the time comes, you have the courage to handle the external conflict, right? Because that tough conversation with your boss, the letting go of listening to the influencer, the removing him as a follower, so you're not seeing that type of content anymore. The conversation with your partner, your friend, your family, whoever it is, I don't expect you to just embrace the conflict right off the get, especially if you are in an overwhelmed state. Oof, how is that going to come out? Well, obviously it's going to come out highly emotional, and you're going to come out misconstrued, and then you're going to look, then you're not going to get your point across. You're not going to be able to move forward in the relationship. You're going to have to close the relationship because emotionally you're just not stable enough. Okay. So how do we combat that? When we practice the internal conflict, like we just did in your mind, by allowing yourself to calm, allowing the murky water to clear because you've listened to the different voices, you've acknowledged them. Who are they? What are you saying? Is this in alignment? You've narrowed it down so that you have stronger focus, clarity, conviction. You know where you're going. You got the vision. You feel more confident. You handle this internal conflict. You open your eyes right here and you're ready to have a conversation. You're ready to make a statement. You're ready to go in your direction. You're ready to handle the conflict externally. Let's breathe into it. Okay. So anyway, this is an idea of quieting the mind. You can do this. You can mimic this process with a lot of things, but I just wanted to start with this because I just feel like when you quiet the voices, you can start to listen to yourself, right? And that's what I'm about. I'm about self-empowerment. And you can't experience your power until you remove the spells that other people have on you or over you. Other people or the market, right? The market in general, social media, whatever, have over you. Once you have those things down, and there'll be many videos about this, I guess so. Then we can start to focus on the intuition, right? And the clarity and the compass and the direction that you want to go, the mountains you want to climb, the accomplishments. That's a terrible trophy, but the accomplishments that you want to experience in your life, right? That comes from self-empowerment. That comes from you having the confidence, the conviction, the clarity, the vision, the discipline, the commitment, the faith, all the things. But you can't even do that until you've quieted your mind enough to hear the voices that are currently stopping you from hearing your own. We remove those, now we hear the voice. And very simply, we stay on the path. We stay on the path. We move forward. And when those voices inevitably come at you, we just practice the same thing we did again. You make the chart. Are they in alignment? You make the analysis. No, yes, why, etc. And we repeat this cycle. right? Each new chapter of your life is going to have new voices. So we just need to be aware. We need to come back to this and revisit it. And I promise you, if you can do this, you're going to experience a lot more self-empowerment. It's going to feel really good. You're going to be a more present person. You're going to be a more peaceful person. And ultimately, that's going to create space for you to embrace your power, your unique gift, your talents, and feel comfortable or not comfortable, feel confident. You're never going to feel fully comfortable, but you can feel confident in sharing them. And that's again back to this whole conversation, lifelines versus timelines. I'll link the podcast in the bio. It's really good. And I think that could be like a complement to this, or the next lesson after this. But I'm really passionate about this, peeps. I really want you to take a moment to actually do this and follow through with this little exercise here, and just take a moment, maybe one more before you go. Clarity, see the voices at the table, ask yourself, who are they? What are they saying? Is it in alignment with me? Break free. Cool. This was cool. I'm doing more of this. I really enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for showing up today. I appreciate you. Definitely leave any comments below, questions, etc. I'm more than happy to answer. I have a podcast. It's the Leaders to Legends podcast on Spotify, Apple, wherever you find them. I'll link it in the description below. And again, I'm really excited to share a lot more of this. As long as you can deal with my unbelievably horrific handwriting, which literally looks like gibberish, then we're good. And like I said, you can do this. Okay. Presence, peace, and power be with you. You already know. Legends find a way. I am Graham Lickner, and it's super nice to meet many of you. And I just am really grateful for you and excited to share more of what goes on in my mind, how I see things, and how I work through these different conflicts in my life to just feel a lot more comfortable in my skin with who I am. And like I said, really reject these timelines in favor of these lifelines, and live freely. Cool. Be good, be safe. Much love always. Peace. Peace.